Aloha, I'm Yenji Denise. Welcome to Get Your House in Order, the show where we help you take care of the things that matter most. In this series, we cover a wide range of topics from health and wellness to financial readiness and preparing for every phase of life. When it's time to move or when a loved one has passed on, we're often left with more things than we know what to do with. So how do you get the best value for all of those items with the least amount of hassle? We are tackling the topic of estate sales today. First, as always, I'm joined by Paulette Ito of Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Paulette, we know a lot about garage sales. We've all been to those, but estate sales is something a little different. How does this fit into Get Your House in Order?
Get Your House in Order is the program to get you prepared. So an estate sale is just that. You want to be able to plan before something happens. You want to get out of your house, or maybe you need to move someone else out to move into another home, downsizing, upsizing. So you want to be prepared and have some type of plan, such as an estate sale planner, to help you.
Right, and an estate sale, you can get rid of a lot at the same time.
Yes, it's very helpful that they can help you inventory items and get them all shipped and ready for you.
Tell us about Get Your House in Order and some of the resources that Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union has unrolled as part of this campaign.
Well, we have our website, hificu.com, and you can come to our website. We have a lot of resources there and links that you can click on to learn more about estate sales or upsizing and downsizing. But we also have our Ho'okele guidebook. The guidebook, we are in 1.2 right now, that talks about things that you have currently. It's on the present tense. Things such as your insurance, your financial account information. That's what's in that guidebook.
So it's a great way. I know 1.1 really focused on the past. This is focusing on the present. And in the context of estate sales, it's really taking sort of inventory and stock of what you have and perhaps making that next plan.
Exactly, because when you're doing your planning, you want to have all these knickknacks and treasures for yourself now, so you can enjoy. But what are you going to do later? What do you want to do with those things? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to pass it on? You want to donate it? How are you going to do that? So this is part of that planning.
Okay, and where can folks learn more, and where do you recommend people start?
Start from the beginning. Go to Ho'okele 1.1 because that's easier. It's an easier transition to start your road mapping, and then go to 1.2, and definitely come and visit our website, hificu.com.
Okay, thanks as always, Paulette. We'll be speaking next with Steve Tokita of Caring Transitions. They specialize in part in estate sales. He'll be sharing how to go about planning one, but first, let's hear from someone sharing their firsthand experience in this area.
Aloha, my name is Christy. I'm from Honolulu. This is my story. We chose to do an estate sale after my dad had passed earlier this year, and we just didn't know what to do with all of his things. We had planned to move into his home, and so we needed to make it ours, but still, kind of keep it him. But we also didn't want a museum, so we decided to, contact an estate sales, and came across Steve from Caring Transitions. We met with him. He's very knowledgeable in what he does. He's very kind, very gentle, very compassionate. And so he took a look around and he agreed. He said, not a problem. So we began our journey of going around the house and literally placing Post-it notes on things that we wanted to put into the estate sale. So we did that for a couple of weeks, went through the garage, had to unpack a lot of boxes. And then after the 2 weeks, they came in and took about a little over a week, about a week and a half, and packed everything up. They posted online, they did everything. Like, we didn't have to do anything. And it was just such an easy, smooth transition. They did a one-day pickup, then it was done. Everything out of the house and done. I would highly recommend if you need to clear out, and it doesn't have to be anything major. It's just if you need help, call Caring Transitions.
For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Steve Tokita of Caring Transitions, which specializes in part in estate sales. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, let's start with the basics. What is an estate sale?
Well, a estate sale is basically a liquidation sale that we are trying to clear up items from a family's estate. It's dealing with tangible personal property, meaning anything in the house that's not fixed to the house that they have to clear out.
Okay. Now, with an estate sale, what do people tend to sell?
Well, you name it, we've sold it before. So it could be anything from vehicles to jewelry to collections of coins, knickknacks, furniture. Everything in the house, we've sold it before.
And does your estate have to be of a certain value? You know, when you say estate sale, it makes me think of someone who's really rich and they have, a lot of really expensive items. What is the sort of threshold?
Yeah, so no, you don't have to be rich. Everybody has items of value in their home. So it is up to the clients what they have that we will make that determination whether it makes sense to do a sale. Because yes, there are times when it doesn't make sense to do a sale, but we can help them through that process. That's part of our general process in clearing a home and make the determination whether it's worth doing an estate sale or not.
Do I have to wait till I'm moving or till someone has passed away to have this sale? Can I do it and still live in the home or, still keep some items and sell others? How does this work?
Yeah, in fact, if you ask anybody, everybody wants to age in place, and that's a big thing. So yes, you do not have to be moving. We could declutter a home with people still staying in the home. And sometimes that makes sense because sometimes the houses become even a hazard to people that have too cluttered homes. And it makes the home a lot safer as well as helps them to get use of the rooms in their house back.
Okay, so walk me through the process. I've decided I have too much stuff in my house, or a loved one has passed away, or perhaps they're moving into a care home, and we just got to get rid of all this stuff. We don't want to throw it away. We don't necessarily want to give it all to Salvation Army or another one of those agencies. Walk us through the process.
So first, we want to do an assessment up front to establish what type of items you have. Also, what the situation is with all the items in the home, how cluttered it is everything packed away in closets? And then once we make the determination of what type of items you have, then it makes a determination whether it makes sense to do a sale. So when we do decide, yes, it makes sense to do a sale, that means it'll offset typically the cost of putting on that sale. We'll basically inventory everything in the house, take everything out. The client still has to make decisions on what they want to include in the sale. So there may be a period of sorting and organizing through the home to make determinations and decisions on what they want to sell. Once they have made those decisions, then we go ahead, we do an online auction process for our sale. So everything gets taken pictures, descriptions made, we post it up on our online auction site, and the sale goes off. Once the sale ends, we have all the winning bidders are awarded their items. We invoice everybody, collect payment, and then we hold a pickup. On pickup day, it becomes like a move-out day, and everything gets cleared out typically in a 4 to 6 hour period.
How long does that process typically take from start to finish?
So a typical project, we tell people is about 4 to 6 weeks for a 4-bedroom home as an example. But that could vary depending on their situation because we do have last-minute requests as well, and sometimes we have to condense the process or do a sale maybe offsite even.
How do you set pricing? What I think is a $100 vase, you think is a $5 vase. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. So how do you figure out what people should pay for this stuff?
So that's the beauty of an online auction sale. We do not establish value up front. The market establishes value, meaning people bid off on an item. We typically do for most of our cleanouts $1 no reserve sale, meaning everything starts off at $1. There's no set pricing that they have to bid. It's the high bidder gets it. And so the market is establishing price based on what they see and what they like.
If I'm the seller and I say, you know what, $1 is too low. This is my grandmother's china. It's worth way more than $1. How do you, have that conversation with the seller so that you're meeting their expectation and because like I said, what I think is worth a lot, you might not think so.
Oh, definitely. So again, it's a basically a decision based on what they want to do with the items themselves. If their objective is to clear the home, then we basically say that is really, if that's your objective, then the best way to do that is to do the dollar no reserve. You can put reserves on items, and people have. It's just a matter of whether if it doesn't go to that amount, whether they're also comfortable with retaining that item, or they can retain that item as well.
Okay, we have a lot more to talk about. Our conversation with Steve is just getting started. Stay with us. You're watching Get Your House in Order.
Basics. An estate sale is a liquidation sale of tangible personal property, most often held by the family of the deceased. Anything on a property not attached to the house can be included. Estate sales are applicable to all wealth and property levels, and some are conducted to declutter a home. The process. The first step of an estate sale is an assessment to determine if a sale makes economic sense. If the decision is to move forward, a property inventory is conducted, and then clients determine the items to be put up for sale. All prices are set by the market during the online auction.
Long's Drugs is always here for Hawaii, providing your family with their local favorites, accessible health and wellness services to keep you safe and healthy. Make Long's a part of your day.
Welcome back. We are speaking today with Steve Tokita of Caring Transitions, all about estate sales. Let's pick up where we left off. We talked about setting the expectations for the seller when it comes to the price an item should fetch.
Yes.
Do you see an estate sale as a money-making opportunity for the seller, or is it really more about just getting rid of the items?
Yeah, so typically it is not a money-making opportunity, but it is a way to leverage the items to offset costs usually. So usually the big thing is the labor in clearing a house is tremendous usually. So a lot of people don't realize how much work, unless you've actually done it yourself. And a lot of families kind of do it themselves, but a lot of times also there's not enough time. It can lag on for months and months and even years sometimes. So what we can do is get them cleared out faster and more efficiently, as well as trying to make them some money to offset that cost. So a lot of times, even if they're not making money, they're actually offsetting the cost enough so that it's cheaper than just hiring a disposal service and just clearing out the house that way.
Right, because some folks might say, oh, well, I'll just do this myself, donate to one of the agencies, and then I don't need to lose any money. But you're saying that that might not be the most efficient or cost effective.
Yeah, correct. So we can determine what's the most cost effective way is with an estate sale. And if it makes sense, then they are definitely going to benefit by taking the items that they have and they're going to get rid of anyway and leveraging it to help offset that cost.
Okay, and when you're getting rid of all the items, how do you determine this should be thrown away, this is worth something? How do you categorize all of those things?
Sure.
I would imagine that you're an expert in that by now.
Yeah, so typically, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So we also try and include as much as we can based on what the client's needs are. So it's also going to be determined on the time that we can spend doing a particular clear out. And in some cases, we also end up doing what we call a picker sale at some of our sites, meaning anything that's donatable items we can keep into a area of the house where we do a picker sale. All of our winning bidders that come over are kind of trained on that already, so they'll be asking and they can go into the picker sale, take a box, fill it up for $10, and they can get it cleared out while making a little bit money off of that too versus donating it.
Okay, and I'm interested that you do most of the selling online. Who are the buyers?
Buyers are actually nationwide. In fact, some international buyers have come in from time to time, but we have a proprietary auction site that we run called CT Bids, and it runs nationwide. They're actually, it is a franchise business, so we actually have franchises all around the country that sell items as well. And so we have quite a bit of audience that will bid on it. We ship off to the mainland a lot. So there's a wider audience than just any kind of garage sale. It's the people that see your sign. Well, we can go on the internet and get a nationwide audience for you.
You know, we went through this process in another city with one of our relatives a number of years ago. And what you're describing is very different, because what she did, there was a person who came, priced basically the house, and then everybody in the neighborhood came and kind of walked through and took what they wanted, you know, at a price, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a very different what you're talking about sounds a lot more sophisticated than I think what our understanding is often of an estate sale.
Yeah, so actually what you're talking about happens a lot. And pre-pandemic, that was quite the method to sell items. But you will have people coming on your property, looking through items on your property. On our auction sale, there's nobody on your property except for my staff in processing everything. So a lot more secure for people that are uncomfortable with letting people on your house. And like I said, it's a 97% sell through on our auction site. And so that helps you clear out stuff more efficiently. And if you have a 50-60% sale in your garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale, that's actually a good result from that type of method. But our method works a lot cleaner.
Yeah, tell us about the success rate, if you will, the sell rate on an auction site like yours.
Sure. So if you follow our recommendations, which is typically $1, everything starts at $1. There's no reserve price, and the market establishes the price. You get about a 97% sell through on that, meaning 97% of the items that we put in auction sell. And then we're just dealing with the 3% residual items at the end, which we also help with as well. So disposal and donation, we can also do as well.
Or they end up in that picker sale.
Or in the picker sale.
Okay, much more to explore on this topic. Stay with us. You're watching Get Your House in Order. We'll be right back.
Windows Hawaii. Trust Windows Hawaii.
Welcome back to Get Your House in Order. Steve Tokita of Caring Transitions is here today to talk to us about estate sales. So we talked about all the upsides, getting rid of all your clutter, perhaps clearing out a house so that it's ready for sale, or if you're moving to a care home or another living space. What are some of the downsides to this process?
Well, there is a lot of emotion involved with items as well. So the downside is that emotional aspect and regretting you sold something. But also the valuation of items. Everybody has items that they were told was worth thousands of dollars. And in essence, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And so in most cases, what we try and set people's expectation at the beginning is it's usually not a money-making item where they're going to get top dollar for items, but they're going to be surprised because they're going to be items that they thought was worth a lot of money. That's not going to get a lot of money, but at the same time, they're going to get items that they didn't think was worth anything. All of a sudden, you get hundreds and thousands of dollars maybe. So those are the situations that we come across all the time.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about that emotional process. What is the best advice you have for folks about letting go? Because that's essentially what we're doing.
So there is a lot of emotion involved, and it usually doesn't come across right away. In most cases, it comes off maybe even at the end when they're actually at the point of people picking up items from the home. So what we tell people is, yes, there is a lot of decision making that you need to do at the beginning, but maybe set some ground rules for yourself at the beginning of the process before you set out with this, because emotions definitely get in the way in some cases.
Yeah, and what are the biggest mistakes you see people make as they go through this process?
Well, a lot of times what people have the idea is, again, people are setting reserves on items based on emotion, and sometimes their reserve prices are not realistic, and so a lot of times what we have to do is either try and convince them, and sometimes it's not successful, so sometimes they end up putting items in reserve and end up retaining it, which is fine as well. But knowing what an item is in your own mind is different than what it is on the market a lot of times. So that's a big thing people confuse, and they can get a little bit emotional and end up retaining items that they shouldn't have. And in essence, they end up keeping stuff and figuring out what they need to do with those items once they end up retaining it.
Right, which was the whole point of having the sale in the first place. I'm interested, who typically has these sales? Has this become more popular? You know, I know minimalism is a big thing, a big trend, especially for the younger generation. So they might not want to receive all the items from Tutu or Auntie or what have you.
Correct, and you see that a lot where, you know, the parents are saying, my kids are going to take everything, don't worry. And when they actually comes time for the kids to make that decision, they don't want anything. So yeah, then you get stuck in a situation where you retain everything thinking you can give it away, and then nobody wants to take anything.
So as you start this process, what are the best first steps? I would think a lot of it would be trying to give that stuff away before you get to that point.
Yeah, so that's also a thing that you can also look at, is that decision making on giving items away. Another thing also that gets in the way is sometimes you have people fighting over things that are in the home. And so sometimes that auction process may work out better because then they can bid on it and actually win it. And
Wait. You have family members bidding on items against each other? Interesting.
That happens a lot too, where yeah, it comes up first for sale. Maybe they weren't told about it, or maybe they, like I said, maybe they were not making a decision on it because they couldn't make a decision on it. Well, then it gets put up for sale, and then they end up bidding on it.
Oof, that's going to make Thanksgiving awkward. Tell me, I know we talked a little bit about the buyers. What are the most popular items? What always sells?
So anything with precious metals, jewelry, coins, those are very good right now to sell. We also sell a lot of vehicles, and the used vehicle market right now is crazy. So yes, vehicles always get very close, if not above blue book value in the sale in the auction.
Okay, and what do people think will sell and often doesn't?
Oh, everybody has that big set of china that's in perfect condition and it's worth a lot of money. But again, it's a generational thing. A lot of times those items just stay in closets collecting dust, and to try and pass it down to relatives, a lot of times your kids definitely don't want to take any of those types of items anymore.
Yeah, I know we covered a lot of ground today, but what's your best advice for those starting this process? What do you want folks to know?
Well, first of all, do your research and make sure you're informed. Our initial assessments give that informational aspect to it and get you informed on what the process is. There are different options for selling your items. We tend to believe ours is the best, but again, you can do your own research to take a look and see what's out there.
And if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Oh, they can go online to our auctions, our website, which is carryingtransitionsHonolulu.com, or they can go directly to our auction site if they want, which is ctbids.com.
Thank you so much, Steve. We learned so much about estate sales today. I am ready to go bid. And thank you for watching today. Remember, you can review this show, watch it again by finding us on YouTube, or listen as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Yanji Denise. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Aloha.